In the midst of political posturing and speechifying, fact-checking has become a cottage industry, but campaign insiders say who cares? Well, media analyst Jackie Guzda breaks some of the things down that voters should care about to cut through all that verbal clutter. We've been hearing about this. I read an interesting article I wanted to share with you real briefly that essentially campaign insiders were saying, well, we don't care about the fact-checkers because people don't really think about it long enough to do the fact-checking themselves.
That's right.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about what we're overlooking in some of these ads.
Okay. The first ad I would love to look at is an ad concerning welfare. It comes from the Romney campaign itself.
Okay, we're going to play that now as you pick it apart and tell us what we should be looking for.
Very good.
1996, President Clinton and a bipartisan Congress helped end welfare as we know it by requiring work for welfare. But on July 12th, President Obama quietly announced a plan to gut welfare reform by dropping work requirements. Under Obama's plan, you wouldn't have to work and wouldn't have to train for a job. They just send you your welfare check. And welfare to work goes back to being plain old welfare. Mitt Romney will restore the work requirement because it works.
I'm Mitt Romney, and I approved this message.
In June, jobless ranks were higher.
All right, truth or fiction?
Total fiction.
Wow.
Total fiction. Out of all the ads that have run during this campaign season, this is the most insidious. And it is because it pits one part of the electorate against the other.
This is really what they call class warfare.
It really is that what this ad is saying is that Obama quietly gutted workfare reform. No, he didn't. What happened is that he gave waivers to states and actually told them that if they could increase the workload at least 20% for a welfare recipient, then they could get this waiver. He did not gut it at all. It increased the workload, not decreased it. So it's a total falsification. Now, this ad has been picked apart by every fact-checking organization out there. There has been press blowback against it. But as you're saying, this is an amazing thing that's happening during this campaign.
Yeah, and this campaign probably the first where we have politicians using these ads and letting them roll.
Well, I don't know if it's the first. I would say perhaps it's the worst. There's been lies going on in political campaigns back to the 1800s.
That's true. Remember the Swift voters in the last two
that too, yeah. That took down Kerry. But what's happening now is, I'll give you the quote from the Romney campaign, is that when they got the blowback, they said, you know what, we're not going to let our campaign be dictated by fact checkers, as though the facts don't count anymore. Which is a horrible thing, because now you've got voters who are disenfranchised.
Right, and misinformed. Let's look at we got another ad. Let's take a look at the next one.
I don't think Mitt Romney understands what he's done to people's lives by closing the plant. I don't think he realizes that people's lives completely changed. When Mitt Romney and Bain closed the plant, I lost my health care. And my family lost their health care. And a short time after that, my wife became ill. I don't know how long she was sick. And I think maybe she didn't say anything because she knew that we couldn't afford the insurance. And then one day she became ill, and I took her up to the Jackson County Hospital and admitted her for pneumonia, and that's when they found the cancer.
All right, truth or fiction?
Total fiction.
Uh-oh.
Well, not total. There's a little bit of truth in it. This is a very sad story, a tragic story. Joe Soptic's wife actually did die from cancer, but they left out a little bit of information. Is that, yes, Bain Capital did come in and take over the steel plant where he worked. Yes, he lost his health insurance, but immediately his wife did not get cancer and die. She had her own health insurance for 2 years after he lost his job, and she didn't contract cancer until 5 years later.
But voters don't get to know that.
They do not. They do not. This ad makes it look like Mitt Romney is the major cause of cancer, which he is not.
Right.
You can see how both ads really don't tell the truth.
They work opposite ends of the spectrum. So the question for voters is, how do we sift through this? I mean, we have no way of knowing and digging this stuff out unless you spend a bunch of time on a computer Googling all of these things.
And who's got that kind of time?
Exactly.
You know, there's an old saying that says, if it sounds too good to be true, it usually is. So if you're going to get a knee-jerk reaction from an ad and go, oh, poor Joe Soptic, or oh, isn't this terrible? These welfare queens are getting a check when I don't even have a job. It's pretty much not true. It's not giving you information. It's trying to persuade you through your emotion, not
work
through
on
your
the gut.
intellect. Yeah, work on the gut is a great way to say it.
So perhaps the best route for the average voter is to pay less attention to the ads.
Yeah, and you know what? Voters are paying less attention to the ads. In the swing states, those 10 states that both candidates have really got a nab to win this close election, some of the voters are saying, we've had enough with these ads. We can't take it anymore. They know that it's all persuasion, not information.
Yeah. Well, you know, to add to this, everyone can always go to the congressional website to see what their congressperson or senator
Sure.
is actually voting for, their actual record.
Yeah, pure information. It's
Yeah.
great. The other thing they can do is look at those apps, PolitiFact.com. There's something called Ad Hoc, which is a lot of fun. You can put it on your Android, your iPhone, and aim it towards the ad. It'll tell you who's paying for that ad.
Wow, interesting stuff.
Love it.
Always insightful, Jackie. We'll look to have you back again.
Terrific.
Thanks.